Hello everyone, in today's video, my classmates and I will be talking about developments that affect learning and teaching. Okay, to begin, let's know a little bit about the new opportunities for learning and teaching using new technologies. Okay, some years ago, when the technology started being implemented in education, many advantages were taken by teachers and students. But there were some complaints about this usage, right? Besides that, it is said that technology provides more or less useful tools, but this is depending on the purposes and level of skills at using them, right? Moreover, it is important to say that the person must determine when technology is worth using and where it might be a hindrance, right? But now, according to a study by a group of United States community colleges, this person concluded that computer technology is affecting learning and teaching because making a relationship between them, technology doesn't transform teaching and learning, but merely reinforces whatever are the current practices. So for example, if a teacher is so didactic, presenting a lot of information while the students are passive, let's say, then computers can be used to present the learners with even more information. But if the students are not skilled at processing and analyzing information, this can be particularly a problem as they face even greater overloading of new material. But now let's see some of the issues of this. One is that technology rarely used as a strategy to develop independent learning. Also, the learning environment in which the technology is used remains fundamentally unchanged. But teachers lack confidence to make full use of this technology. Use is not guided by the results of research. Also, the sites of students filling the gap, handouts using a basic textbook to make notes, completing a simple paper and pen exercise, and so on. We have to know that these won't disappear.
Well, first, we have to know what is telematic. And telematic is related to using technology that leads with sending digital information over long distances using wireless form of communication. For example, satellite navigation systems or drive system or different technological programs, apps, internet connection, etc. Nowadays, many students have grown using telematic. For example, they use telematic in their private lives. They use telematic for educational purposes, or for entertainment, or for their social status. But the problem is that the students think that being in a classroom is not necessary because they have all the information online. So they don't have to pay attention to the teacher, or they don't have to take notes because they already have the information on their cell phones or in their computers. So, and besides, this problem is for many secondary schools because we already know that they don't have the resources, so they have to make arrangement with the government to have their own computer facilities in their schools. But the teacher have to deal with the no internet connection, or with that the computers are too old, etc. And the next topic is,
so we all know that in this 21st century, all the educational areas are highly computerized, and the learners will go into, or they are already into, working environments which are totally computer dependent. So it means that they need to be much more than merely word processor competent. But this also has an effect on teachers, especially for the ones who teach on the educational areas, and it is that they have to incorporate the new technologies into their teaching. Also, teachers will need to develop strategies to harness the students' enthusiasm and maybe superior technical abilities. Also, they need to adjust to this situation in case they haven't done it, right? Also, what the new technologies do to teachers is that it compels them to be more creative and also to innovate in the way they want to present the ideas to the teachers, and this is basically everything about the implications of the telematic age for teachers.
You may say we are in the 21st century and we have the technology and we can learn whatever we want using our computer or even our smartphone. And I can say it's totally true. But I can firmly say this is not a threat to teachers for a number of reasons. And I will mention some of them. The first one is, though we have a lot of information, we need a guidance. Someone who chooses the correct information, because on whether you can find a lot of information and you will not able or capable to learn everything. Though we can have the most important information. For that, I will mention the second reason. The curriculum has to be managed by experienced and professional person. We know that learning process is equality sequential activity, and it can't work without logic and order. And the third reason that I will mention is the capacity of response. If some students have some problems with a specific topic, just teachers are flexible and patient to solve that problem.
Over the past 25 years, research has identified further influences on how learning is accomplished, and these discoveries are being built into the learning process. The idea that the ability to learn is dependent on a single and general capacity of the human mind. So this is strongly challenged by evidence that suggests that learning is assisted by various and numerous factors.
This theory said that working with talented children and brain-damaged adults could be perceived that a particular strength or weakness in one area or skill didn't predict achievements elsewhere. Further, this research provided evidence which supported these observations, and it was suggested that the existence of not one overarching intellectual capacity, but instead at least 7 relatively autonomous human intelligences. The notion of multiple intelligences offers a broader concept of the learning process and hope to those who find current education practices restrictive or failing. A second dimension of the learning process is that of the significance of social skills and functioning for present and future achievement. Goleman has pulled together mounting evidence which demonstrates that a person's emotional life is every bit as important in determining achievement as our cognitive capacities. So his conclusion is that the ability to recognize and handle emotions both in oneself and in others is a key to getting on in the day-to-day world. Emotional patterns. They can be unlearned, altered, or at least controlled through formal teaching of a more appropriate model, which leads to the acquisition and development of more appropriate strategies and behavior. By teachers modeling emotional intelligence themselves, new emotional skills can be learned and ingrained to be applied in times of anxiety, stress, frustration, anger, or hurt. So, students are able to develop their thinking capacity to contain and channel their emotions. Instead of their cognitive function being blocked by impulsive emotional reactions, it is released to concentrate on other things such as learning.
We as a future teachers know that weaknesses and strengths of the students affect the learning process. So the teachers need to find new ways in which the students feel comfortable and learn. But this requires new teaching strategies according to the student's ability and emotional disposition to learn a new content. Besides the necessity to create a good environment, focus on the students' strengths.
This topic talks about the idea that academic and vocational education should be combined in order to prepare people for life beyond the specialism of any particular job, something that has been said around for a long time ago, right? Well, these skills can also be called process skills, and those skills are effective communication, problem solving, number, and also information technology. These skills have had a big support in the UK since parents said that this skill could be taught in the schools, but only 3 of them could be mandatory, and they are number, information technology, and effective communication. The rest of them could be optional, they said. They also said that there are many students and there are many skills, so the skills could be adequate to every student's capacity or ability to learn. They also said that there is no need to change the teaching program, but this could be a great idea to improve the learning process and also to prepare people for life.
Here, I want to focus on this idea. Many teachers see themselves mainly as subject specialists. In other words, teachers are responsible not only to share the information or their knowledge, but to develop some skills on their students. Now that many subjects, both vocational and academic, change rapidly, that now that we have access to the technology, some students look for information and sometimes they know more than the teacher. That's why teachers need to be careful. And I think that implications are clear. Teachers need to manage the learning, not only of their specialists, whatever it is, but through working with the learning to develop some skills such as problem solving, communication, taking responsibility of the learning and performance, and that's all. As a group, we hope you understand everything, and thank you for your attention.